What's up, full pack? Today we're going to be talking about the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. So, this is going to be a part of a new series where I just talk about what happened on the Daryl Dixon show. And yeah. So, Daryl apparently washes up on shore. And at the end of the episode, we find out who that is. But before we find that out, he goes into this place full of nuns, or he encounters the acid walkers, gets touched by one, is possibly infected. Don't know the rules behind that, but and they cure him. And then we get the basis of the entire series, that there's this boy that can apparently see the future, and that somehow makes him a cure. Which, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if they implemented an element where there is a possible cure, because so far in every single zombie series, there hasn't been a cure. Like, no zombie movie has done a cure. No zombie show has done a cure. So it would be cool to see if there's actually potentially a cure. Now, do I think it's going to be like how people think it will be? No. I personally think that the cure is only going to be effective for people alive. So when people take the cure or drink the cure, they're immune. But anyway, so he gets captured by these nuns after getting into a massive scuffle with these people. These people betrayed him, yada yada yada. And yeah, and then this big bad, the main villain of the story, or the second main villain of the story, I don't really know. It's hard to tell which one's going to be bad, the people at the end or the people that were shown. But, yeah, so I want to consider him the main big bad because, he's the first villain that showed up. So, the main big bad is hunting down Daryl and eventually comes across the nun area with the poster that Daryl was holding. So then the main big bad's group starts massacring the nuns, and then Daryl comes in to swoop and save the day, as Daryl does, because Daryl's a badass. And the guy gets away. He doesn't seem very leader-like, in my opinion. But I know that he's going to eventually come back to, be the final boss. Or, I don't know. But there are hints around the entire episode about why Daryl is there. Why he was going across shore. I personally believe that the reason that he's going across shore is to find Rick. And the reason I think that is because Daryl's being very vague about what he's looking for. If The Walking Dead, right? If The Walking Dead didn't, or if AMC or Robert Kirkman or whoever's in charge of the show wanted him to be there for a different reason, they would have said so. They wouldn't keep it vague. So I personally think he's there to look for Rick, because he obviously didn't intend to be at Paris. He intended to go farther out. And I think Alexandria knows that he's going after Rick, because he said, let them know I tried. Let the Commonwealth know he tried looking for blank. And it's obviously something very important. But for the main show, there wasn't really anything to look for. They found what they wanted. They found a large community. They basically took over Georgia. You know what I mean? So what else would there be other than looking for Rick? More people? No, because obviously if he was looking for more people, he wouldn't distrust the nuns. He would tell the nuns to come with him. And he obviously wants to be alone. So he's obviously looking for Rick. I think it just makes sense that he's looking for Rick. Unless Carol ran off somewhere, which that could be a possibility, but that wouldn't make much sense for how the show ended. So yeah. And I need to address this before the video ends. People were comparing the show to The Last of Us. It's nothing like The Last of Us. Even like the start of the show wasn't even anything like The Last of Us. Daryl is like completely new to these new variant walkers, as opposed to Joel, that's like he's been in the apocalypse since day one. So it's like, yeah. Now, here's the big thing that I need to talk about. Do I think the kid's immune? I don't think so. I mean, it is the Daryl Dixon show, so I'm not going to say like it's too small of a show to reveal something that big. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that there's a cure just so we have a actually good ending, but I don't think the kid's immune. I think he just can see the future in a way. Because he drew Daryl before Daryl came to France. Which, you know, I don't know. I hope The Walking Dead don't, like, you know, add in superpowers or whatever. Because that would just be silly. That would just be stupid. If the kid has superpowers, that's going to kill the franchise. I'm going to be honest. As much as I love The Walking Dead, that's going to put a massive dent. Not even just a dent, a hole in the fan base. So, do I think he's a cure? I don't think so. And if he is, they need to explain why. You see, in the show, they explained why Ellie was the cure. Because she was bitten at birth, or her mom was bitten at birth, so it's like she was born with spores. So why is this kid immune, right? Is it just like a certain DNA type? Maybe Daryl has that DNA. And here's something that I've been worried about the entire episode. Could this be Daryl's final season? Could Daryl die in this show? You see, plot armor only gets you so far, right? That's what happened to Joel. So, the chances of Daryl dying are slim, but aren't impossible. Because after this show ends, what else is there gonna be for Daryl? A Daryl and Carol show? Like, how much can you do with Daryl? Like, obviously, character-wise, you can do a lot with him, right? But realistically, this is his show. So it's like, what else can you put him in? You're just gonna randomly put him in Dead City, or make him one of the supporting characters of The Ones That Live? Is he gonna get another show? That's why I think either A, Daryl's gonna die, which I don't know, or B, his show's gonna be like the longest running spinoff, which could happen. Because I'm not saying they're gonna milk it, because Norman Reedus loves playing Daryl, so it's like they're not milking the character to milk the character, because realistically Daryl was supposed to die. Daryl was supposed to be written as like an asshole, but Norman Reedus fell in love with the character and then changed the course of the character forever. So, and plus he's I think he's like one of the only unique characters to the story. He's not in the comics, so that's another reason to keep him around. The good thing about the spin-offs is that you don't have to follow a story anymore. I think that's why people are finding a certain charm with the spin-offs, is because there isn't a goal. What made The Walking Dead main show kind of, I don't know, dented in a way, is because they derived from the story quite a bit. Like, all of the deaths seemed unnecessary. You know what I mean? But in the spin-offs, you could do anything. Realistically. But yeah. As for people comparing this to The Last of Us, it's completely different. Sure, you have a grumpy guy who is antisocial in a way, who has to bring this kid across the world. Also kind of weird, kind of funny that there's a woman coming with him, one woman particularly. And there's like massive groups coming after him because he killed people. Yeah, I can see the similarities, but they are completely different. Yeah. So, post in the comments what you guys think. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and yeah. What do you guys think of the show? I personally am liking it so far, which is crazy because I never liked the first episode of a series. I usually have to wait until like the second or third episode. But yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.